What if I told you that the Cleveland Browns might already be facing pressure to trade away their most talked-about rookie quarterback before he's even had a real shot? That's right, the buzz around Shedeur Sanders has taken a dramatic turn, and the latest reports are nothing short of shocking. Fans who once believed Sanders could be the future of this franchise are now watching a story unfold that feels more like a nightmare than a dream. So what exactly went wrong? And is this truly the beginning of the end for Shedeur in Cleveland? Let's dive deep into the full story. The Shedeur Sanders experiment with the Cleveland Browns has been rocky from the very start. Coming into the league as a fifth-round pick out of Colorado, Sanders was supposed to bring energy and upside, but instead he has been surrounded by inconsistency and doubt. His preseason numbers were far from convincing, completing just over 58% of his passes for a little more than 150 yards, with 2 touchdowns sprinkled in. It's not exactly disastrous, but not enough to silence critics either. And when the Browns released their Week 1 depth chart, Sanders was listed as the third-string quarterback. At that moment, it was clear that Joe Flacco would be the starter and Dillon Gabriel the primary backup, leaving Sanders buried down the line. Most fans assumed that at the very least, Sanders would serve as the emergency option, learning behind veterans while waiting for his moment. But things took an even stranger turn when the Browns brought in Bailey Zappa. This move raised eyebrows because Zappa, who previously played 1 game under Kevin Stefanski last season, had already shown he could be serviceable, completing 16 of 31 passes for 170 yards with 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. Suddenly, Sanders wasn't just fighting for relevance, he was being pushed completely out of the conversation. According to ESPN Cleveland's Tony Rizzo, Zappa has already overtaken Sanders behind the scenes. Reports suggest that Zappa is now running the scout team at practice, while Sanders has been left simply watching from the sidelines. Rizzo didn't hold back when questioning the situation, bluntly asking why Sanders is even on the roster if the team doesn't trust him to run the scout team. He even wondered aloud if Sanders' presence is more about jersey sales than football, a harsh but telling critique. Once this news broke, NFL fans were quick to react and the speculation started flying. Social media lit up with calls for the Browns to trade Sanders, with many arguing that the franchise has no real interest in developing him. One fan bluntly wrote that Sanders should be released so he could finally find a place where he might actually get playing time. Another fan summed up the frustration in typical Cleveland fashion, saying this is exactly what the Browns are known for, ruining quarterbacks and then watching them succeed somewhere else. So where does this leave Shedeur Sanders? According to Deanna Rossini of The Athletic, the Browns do see a spot for Sanders on the roster, but fans should not expect him to see the field this season unless things get truly bizarre. That's a tough pill to swallow for both Sanders and his supporters because he has become such a polarizing figure in such a short time. People either want to see him thrive or they're ready to move on, and patience is running thin. At the end of the day, maybe the Browns are simply trying to be patient with their young quarterback, taking a long-term developmental approach. But the reality is that in Cleveland, patience doesn't last very long, especially when the franchise has a long history of quarterback controversy. The more Sanders sits, the more speculation will build, and the louder the calls for a trade will become. So the question remains, are the Browns quietly preparing to move on from Shedeur Sanders before he ever gets a chance? Or is this just part of a long-term plan that fans are too impatient to accept? Whatever the case, one thing is certain. This story is far from over, and the pressure surrounding Sanders is only going to grow with every passing week. And that's the story of Shedeur Sanders' surprising demotion and the whispers of a possible trade already heating up. Do you think the Browns are making a mistake by sidelining their rookie, or are they playing the long game to develop him properly? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more NFL updates and breakdowns. Until next time, stay tuned, because this season is just getting started, and the drama in Cleveland isn't slowing down anytime soon.